Hi everyone, my name is PK, and here I have Barry Krishnan, who is the client of the Property Investment Accelerator. I'm really excited to have Barry on today because, he's just epitomizes the sort of hard-working person who's trying to take care of his family, growing young family in Sydney. He used to be an operations manager at a restaurant. Now he's in garden and mowing services. He's got his own company, and he's just, how do you say, just trying to provide for his family, allow the family to get ahead like we all do. And he's done really well. He's bought these two investment properties which are performing well, and another, or I should say, upgraded principal place of residence since he did the course. In this episode, we'll go through his journey before he did the course, what he's learned from the course, and giving you tips and tricks on how he bought these properties, where he bought them, how they're performing, how you can replicate this kind of success. And we'll just go through his tactics, his strategy, mindset, real case or real life example of someone who's working hard but also making his money work hard for him. So I'm very grateful, Barry, that you've made time. I know that you're a busy person, you got a growing family, so I really appreciate it.
Thank you, PK. Thank you for having me here. And I appreciate to share my journey with you.
Welcome to the Oz Property Investment Mastery Podcast. My name's PK, and I help busy people build passive income by buying top 5% growth and cash flow property and build a portfolio using data without wasting months doing research, spending weekends at inspection or catching flights, or dropping $10,000 to $20,000 on buyer's agents every single time. So if you're confused, lack confidence, and just overwhelmed with all the information and marketing misinformation available online and don't know where to start, then this show is for you. Let's just start from the start. So, like, before these last three properties, what was your property experience before, you came in contact with me?
Before I came in contact with you, look, I had no interest in property. Front of house, they were always into property. They used a buyer's agent and bought two properties themselves, and they were doing well. And we had a bit of savings, so we wanted to invest as well, and we were thinking, and so that sort of spark that ignite for us, and go, okay, so let's get into property. And where do I start? So, obviously they recommended the person they used because they were happy with his service. And we started looking into it. And I got lured into one of these, I won't mention any name, as you know. One of these things, so they promise you the world, but don't deliver. So I sort of signed up with them, started going through the property sort of chain, and they started introducing people. And almost when it was time for me to put my money down, I sort of stepped back, and I was a bit skeptical, and I felt like I'm being scammed. So I decided not to do it. And I was doing a lot of research. While I was doing a lot of research, you came up, and I watched all your YouTube videos. Obviously, it was free. You had no intention of you know uh, selling anything to people. So you were simply promoting how to do it, self education and all that. So I liked about it because you got no skin in the game, where these people, they sort of go, okay, sign up, pay for our membership, and then I got my accountant, and then they get a cut from that. I've got my own finance guy, they get a cut. So they got this circle. So and you get trapped in it, and then we basically just go around and around and around. So anything they do, it's like so obviously they're selling you all these new developments, so that means they're getting money off the investors that you starting to figure out. So luckily I didn't fall into it. And so I've done more research, watched all your YouTube, and I thought, what, it's time that I do your course. And done your course. And I actually pressured myself to buy because it was end of financial year and I wanted to get one before it.
Yeah.
So as I was doing your course, and I started, flying in real world as well. And we ended up with our first investment property after I'd done the course, which was in Townsville, as you know. A bit on the Townsville property and update is, so I bought it for 375K back in to May 2023, right? So just before the end of financial year. So it's just under 2 years now. So I've done my own CMA again using the tool. I sort of looked around, you know, comparable sales as well, and so I'm basically valuing my property anywhere from 555 to 575. So that's, within that range. So estimated on that. So I basically under 2 years made 180 to 200K in equity. That's where it's at. Rent, we increased it once since we bought it. So at the moment, I'm getting $530 per week rent off it. So started at 500, we increased it to $30 more.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so happy with it. All the property fully renovated. Uh, in the 2 years, maybe I had 5 maintenance issues, very minimal. So sprinklers on something and palm leaf dropped on, clothesline, had to replace that. Like, you had a small leak in bathroom or, silly stuff, like nothing major. So, so again, so everything is, worked out the way it should be. So, building and face infection, I'm happy with it because, like I said, I don't have any major traumas.
Right.
So it didn't turn into a money pit. So that's good because, as you know, when you buy an older property, that's always at risk. But yeah, like I said, yeah,
And
happy with it.
does it cost anything to hold? So I think you bought for 375.
Yeah, yeah,
If you
yeah.
buy
Because of the since I bought it, when I bought it, the interest rate really low, as you know, and then we had this massive rate rise.
yeah.
So it does cost me about 150, $200 a week to hold it,
Mhm.
which is okay. But mind you, we just made 200K under 2 years. That's like it's gone roughly $100,000 a year, which you don't even make that much on a normal wages, so plus let alone save that much a year.
Yeah.
So for me to now have 200K sitting in equity, it's great. So yeah,
Right.
can't complain for putting $150 a week in it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
no brainer. So very happy with that. Let's get into the interesting one that you always curious
Okay,
about.
before we go to the next one, do you mind if I just ask one or two questions? Because I think
Sure,
this will be
sure.
really useful. I had in my notes from when you first emailed me about that in 2023, you had said that at the time you were working 60 hours a week, in hospitality
Correct.
as a restaurant operations manager. I mean, just thinking of an operations manager at a restaurant kind of gives me anxiety. So I don't know. Like, it was a kind of a stressful job. How did you manage to like a lot of people think to themselves, young family, wife and husband, etc., tough job. I have no time. Let me just use a buyer's agent. Like, how were you able to carve out time and how much time did it even take to then buy this property by yourself?
Uh, Look, I put a bit of time pressure on myself, like I mentioned to you, because I had this goal of I wanted to buy that property before end of financial year, just to claim that financial incentive, right? So,
Yeah.
since I joined the course, which I believe was in maybe uh, March or April, I believe. You can correct me if not, but only a few months. I joined the course, and then within the first 2 months of joining the course, I bought the property. So I didn't simultaneously, you know, do the course, get an understanding, watch all the videos, and then starting to apply in real life, go into, all the numbers and stuff, starting to, look into, what I'm comfortable in investing in, financial. So going to the bank. Uh, to be honest, it was stressful, but I put that stress on myself. So yes, I did work 60 hours. So for example, you know, uh, I still have it. I got an electric car. So basically, I'll go charge my car after work for half an hour in one of these speed charge, fast charge. So while I'm sitting there, I watch your YouTube videos and I watch your course content, and then I take some notes, and narrow down my choices. Like, okay, so now we've got 50 suburbs. How do I narrow down to like,
Yeah, sure.
the course, how it takes through? So I was doing all that simultaneously, but it is doable. It is doable. Like I said, I'm at that time I had 2 kids, right? So now I've got three.
Yeah.
So so I think it's 60-hour a week, and yeah, but spending a couple of hours a day, that's all it needs. You take it as slow as you want, or you go as fast as you want. So it's really up to what you can sort of digest, and
Right,
what sort of spare time you got in your hands. It's
right,
definitely doable. Yeah.
right.
Like I said, I put pressure on myself, but other people who's watching this may be interested in doing so. They don't have to. Yeah.
And
So take it as slow as you want.
I'm curious as well because, it's like a lot of people doubt that they can invest in property. They doubt themselves, their own ability. They don't have confidence in themselves that they'll be able to learn, whether it's through me or someone else, learn, execute, actually do it themselves. Especially, I feel, it's like if you're an engineer, if you're an IT professional, you're in finance, you're accounting, you're in banking, you're somewhat familiar with
Good with numbers.
analytics,
Yeah.
numbers, etc. You're not from a numbers heavy background. Of course, and then the course is all about numbers. It's all about data. Uh, did you find that difficult? Or did you find it kind of straining to kind of and learn the analytical side of things, or did it come naturally to you, or what was your experience like?
It came naturally to me. Look, so even in the restaurants, we always, have budgets and forecasts, and we always looking back at, last year's annual sales and what do we need to meet now? What is my food cost? What is my labor cost? What is my, profit margin level? So we sometimes, stock takes, and we do numbers in a different way, but not financial. Financial is, as you know, everyone, when you run a business, everyone is in to make money. So you got to know your numbers. So I wasn't scared of the numbers, but look, you do get this, I don't know, butterflies in your stomach, So because it's a strange feeling, because now you're learning this, and you're applying in real life, and you're doing it by yourself. So you always have that doubt: am I doing the right thing? You're playing with your life savings, So you invest in 375K back in the day when I was doing it, or 500K, 600K, whatever your budget is. So you're spending, it's a large number to stomach, and when we're always gonna doubt yourself and go, am I doing the right thing? What if it's not the right thing? And so I'm always like, so, and then you get stuck in this fear factor, So you sometimes you can sort of, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? You go around in circles. It's basically like, you won't get out of it, because you go, is this the right suburb? Okay, I'll narrow it down to Townsville, whether it's Kurrajong, or whether it's this, or whether it's that. I go, where do I put my money in? It's like, so am I gambling? So you have that fear, but then that's where you come in, right? So I've emailed you, I called Samir a couple of times, and I asked for help. Hey, I've got stuck here. So what do you think I should do? So the numbers are saying go this way. What is your thought on this? So I'm not, like you always say, look, you're not going to say go buy that one, but you will guide me in, you know, take me there. So many times I asked for help, and I was always given help. So you guys always come back to me and say, no, yeah, that's all right. No, no, maybe you should tweak that. Maybe you should put this percentage in. So yeah. So
Yeah,
but you got that support. So with that support, you can sort of overcome that fear. But yeah, you can feel stress, because look at it's based on your stress level, I suppose.
yeah,
Because but again, I'd rather, that's what I said to my wife, and I go, look, at least I know that I'm giving my all in to buy this property. Where when you look for these buyers agents, or these property mentoring, whatever they sell you packages, how do you know they do the right thing? How do you know they're just not throwing it down and say, oh, that's where it lands? The more I'll know, it's like I said to you, it's like, so I actually got a few people that I know, to, so they are buyers agents, and they just constantly ring realtors and say, hey, do you have any places for sale? Okay, so for example, everybody wanted to buy in Perth, and that's what they were doing. They were just ringing realtors saying, hey, you got a house for sale? I've got a client. You just bang, lock them in. Next, you got a house for sale? Yep. Okay, how would a client uses it? So they get these clients coming to them and say, "Oh, I want to buy a house in Perth," and then all they're doing is just simply making a phone call and hook you up with the real estate agent who's simply got a house in sale. They just do the basic, like, okay, get a building inspection done. So that's it. So that you can do it by yourself. Don't. It's not rocket science. Like, I can really call a real estate agent right now and say, okay, send me a list of houses you for sale. They're going to give it to you because they want to sell a house, and that's it.
Yeah,
So if I got 5 clients that I have, simply just match them. I got 5 property, pick one. They're all good. They're all in the right suburb. They're all growing, and then make
right.
15, 20K per property. So, but yeah, so so not I'm not saying that everybody does that, but most of them, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so, how do you trust that's what they making is the right decision for you? At least, even if, for example, let's get into the next one that we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I've done that. So if something gone wrong, and the only place to blame is me, but I can live with it. Where if now I paid 15,000 to somebody, and then they bought me that, and then it didn't go well as I thought, then I'm not gonna live with it. I'm just gonna say I wasted 15 grand of my money, and they didn't do the right thing. So yeah, so it's all
No,
that
I think
factor.
you know what's up. You've read the industry like a book. You know how it works. So thanks for sharing that. I also want everyone to know that having a bit of stress or a bit of nervousness is actually a good thing because it forces you to concentrate and actually shows that you care. If you're not nervous at all about signing a contract, or you're not nervous at all about selecting the right location or property, that's kind of like suggests to me that you're a bit blasé and nonchalant and like not so much caring about it. So, of course, too much of that is not good, but a bit of that just it actually helps the process. It kind of lubricates the process, makes sure that you're aiming in the right direction, you're focusing on the right thing. Let's pivot to your next property, which, at the time, definitely I mean, now Darwin seems to be, for good or bad, it's the flavor of the month, but back when you got your foot into the door, I think you were, very much a pioneer, and even I was sort of I remember having you on the mentoring call for our clients, and I was like, "Oh, Barry, can you take us through why you bought in Darwin?" Just objectively speaking, just
Yeah.
because it's not for everyone. So why don't you share that with everyone? Like, why did you buy in Darwin when you did. You bought there and towards the end of 2023. And how's it gone for you?
Yep. So yeah, see, my idea behind investing, I wanted to diversify. So like the people say, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? So I live in Sydney. I've got to pay, my home at Sydney, and I bought my a second property in Queensland, so Townsville, Queensland. So I wanted to buy obviously in Perth, but then at that time Perth was very, very hot, and it was just I felt by the time I do my due diligence and I get into something, and then you look at a property and go, okay, I've done all my numbers, I'm confident, and you ring up and it's gone. So, I've got rejected so many times in Perth, and I thought I'm wasting my time because it's just too hard to get into it. So I didn't want it to sort of go into this price bid war, blindly invest without, because that's what people were doing. They were just going nuts and
Yeah,
blindly
not doing their
buying
due
property. Yeah,
diligence. It's
yeah,
like you were saying, buyer's agent
yeah,
calls. Yep, there's a property, no due
yeah.
diligence, just buy it.
Yeah, so simply they just throwing money at it, which it's good, like, because, but I was scared. I don't wanted to buy that property. It might be a good land, it might be a good area, but what if they probably got a structural damages on
Yeah.
that? Like, you tend to find out a lot happens. So I wanted to take my time where people were signing contract without even like calling off period. That's how Perth was. Like, there's once you sign it, then you can't get out. So or there was no calling off period, so on, so on. So I was, I didn't want to rush into it just because, it's like a rat race that everybody doing, you have to do. So I thought, I'm out of Perth. I'm not going to do Perth. Like, it's just too much for me to focus on, and I didn't have the time. I'm working 60 hours, and I had to do all this time you know, at the time that my whole family sleeps, and I'm doing late nights and 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock research. So, and I couldn't spend any more time on it. So I sort of gave up with it, and I go, okay, what is next? What can I do? and Darwin popped up, and I started looking into Darwin a bit, because, like you said, nobody was investing in Darwin, so it was a lot of, it's basically it wasn't hot, like you can take all the time in the world, and the Uringa people, they were so calm, there was no rush. And I've done my research, and so I looked at the micro data, macro data, and I read up on what's in Darwin. So I rang a few people who sort of lived around there, or people who had family and friends up that way, and find out what's actually happening in Darwin. So three or four factors that I considered. Darwin is heavily, a lot of military engagements going on. So when they got these, for example, US, Australia, Philippines, or whatever, these international war games or whatever, it was all based in Darwin. So there was a lot of, so that, and as you know, Darwin is big on mining as well. And also natural gas and Santos. I think that project is a green light, but I don't know when they're actually going to do it. But I read about that as well. So they doing this underwater cable that actually connects us to Asia through the seabed. So that project is a green light too. So there was numerous factors that I looked at it. So I wasn't okay. Then I thought, also I invested my no, I use my SMSF to invest in Darwin. So I know it's a long game, and and also it's the beef export cattle. Basically, everything that we produce in terms of beef um, goes to Asia through Darwin. So because it is diversified, so there's military, and there is all this mining, and there's gas, and there's beef capital, and lots of other little things that's happening in Darwin. So okay, so I decided to go ahead. So I narrowed it down to Darwin, and from Darwin, I narrowed it down to the suburb, and then like the course teaches you. So I picked a property, and actually I picked two. One, the owners sort of played hardball, so I got out of it, and then I ended up where I ended up, and it's actually a good property as well. It's 422, but it's sort of like semi-detached, so it suits a lot of people in terms of they got a teenager, they got like, so one bedroom is separated. It's more like a little studio. So if you've got a teenager or elderly couple, you know, uh, with family, so they want to have their own space, sort of thing. So he's got a pool. I decided to go ahead and invest. As you know, so I bought in August 2023 for 585. It's year and a half roughly. My CMA valued is at 650 to 685. So anywhere from say 65 to 85K, it's grown. So it's not as the capital growth is not necessarily high as Townsville, but again, bombing, I don't know, it will perform well. But so I reckon it's about 65 to 85K growth in year and a half,
Yeah.
which I'm okay with. Yeah,
And I think it's important to note that everyone's strategy is different. This was a SMSF purchase, so it's not like you can take equity and use it to buy another property anyway. So
exactly.
this was very much a set and forget
Yeah,
for, I don't know, 20, 30 plus years.
long term. Yeah,
And you know that Darwin right now, the cheapest capital city, hasn't grown much in the last 10 plus years. And we know that over the 30, 40-year horizon, basically all locations around Australia, they catch up to each other in terms of the rate of capital growth. And over 30, 40 years, basically within kind of one or two standard deviations, all properties perform very similarly. So because yours hasn't performed, it's likely to have more than the average performance, in the next, or at least over the medium term. So I think it's from an SMSF perspective and that perspective, it's a great buy. And yeah, I think it's something that I think advanced investors start to realize that everyone's strategy is different. You know, you were time strapped. You just needed to get a deal done quickly, and so you pivoted to cool markets. You know, and I see so many people who, since 2023, has been trying to buy in Perth, now given up and still haven't bought a property. So you got to ask yourself, what's better, getting skin in the game and pivoting to something that is going to perhaps boom in a couple of years' time, or try to buy in a booming suburb, missing out and end up not getting anything. So it's like different strokes for different folks, but I think I'm happy to see or hear that it's had the growth. I think actually it might even be selling for maybe almost 100K up from where you bought it. Depends on the buyer, but I think that's a solid buy. And in terms of the people, there's this stigma that Darwin, Northern Territory, is a lot of crime, etc. Just from your own experience, you held the property for 18 months ish. How's the tenants been? How's the maintenance been? Has it been the same as Townsville? Has it been, like, more of a headache? What's your experience?
When I bought it, the property had tenants in it. So since I bought it, they vacated. So and then there's new tenants moved in, and the turnaround time was within. I had maybe a week, not even. So the advertised the 3 weeks. They went into market, so they had up at home, and yeah, within a week we had people moved in. Even then, I had like so there's no issue. So it's not like there's no one to rent there. So the
Mm.
market is tight. So uh, in terms of crime, there's no problem. Look, yeah, like you said, there's always when you look at Darwin as a whole, yeah, you see a crime factor, but as you look at suburb level, crime rate is low. Look, 18 months I had no issues, apart from a few maintenance calls that you get due to the storm level, or for example, one of the I'm just dealing with it right now, just over before Christmas. The awning or a shake pot in front of the pool area, one of the steel beam come off, maybe just old and crushed it away. Probably one big wind just took it down. So that's getting replaced. Yeah, I had air conditioner leak or so here and there, but that's about it. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
um,
And I don't think it's any laughing matter, almost 15% growth in, under a year and a half or so. I think we're so accustomed to, like, the Perth boom and, people making 30% in a year, 40% in a year. But you gotta time those things right. You can't be buying there now. And I think in normal time, and this is something to be said as well, Darwin on a macro has basically been flat since you bought it, but your suburb, and it proves the concept of markets within markets, your suburb has gone up more than
yeah.
10% in that 1 or 2 or under 2 years. So, yeah, this is all about optimizing your purchase decision. Um, and I just wanna talk about your business and kind of your plans going forward. So what's your business goal? I can see you probably wearing your business.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to go, but I actually going to work after this meeting. So I took on a client because when people want their lawns cut, they want to cut yesterday. Where they call you today. So this guy says, you got to do it." I said, "Okay, I'll do it today." It's called Fox Mowing and Gardening Service. It's actually a franchise. So I bought the franchise for Vigo, where I live in now. So I service basically Camden, Oran Park, right up to Darrow, Mittagong.
Mhm.
Yeah, mowing and garden maintenance. Meanwhile, as you know, we also use uh, the course to upgrade our principal place of residence camp where we live in now. So, of course, helped me with that as well, which is done awesome, by the way. So, it's not an investment, but I don't know if you believe. In 10 months, I think it made 300Ks now.
Oh, wow. 300K in 10 months.
Well,
That feel how did I
that's the
mean,
valuation.
it's your own principal place of residence, so, like, how did the course help you with that? Like, presumably you already knew where you wanted to live, or did you let the course dictate which suburb or property you bought?
No, so I sort of looked at, I knew roughly where I want to go because of the growing family, and my in-laws were migrating and coming down to help us live with it. So we needed a bigger house, and I wanted a bit more land for my kids as well. So from where I lived in spring farm. So we started looking where can we go that not too far from where we live, but let's say half an hour radius, and where can I get into with a bigger land. So there was a handful of suburbs that came up, for example, Picton, Carmel, Bargo. You can go up to Southern Highlands like Barrow, Mittagong also. But so eventually we wanted to buy in Picton, and yeah, Picton. I looked at a few houses as well, but when I started doing my numbers with the course, I thought it's overpriced. To be honest, I didn't buy in Picton, and I ended up in Bargo, which is 10 minutes from Picton. So it didn't have too much travel time. At that time, I was still working at the same place. From Picton to my work, or from Bargo to my work, it's about the same. Maybe 5 minutes difference, because from Bargo, I'm closer to the freeway. Where Picton, I have to drive a fair bit to get to freeway. So, you know, even though it was 10, 15 minutes out from where I wanted to live, but to get to work, it only adds 5 minutes, which I was okay with. So yeah, we bought it for 1.31, and we did a bit of reno, and we spent about 60 Ks. And yeah, now I've got it revalued, and it's, yeah, look, bank says maybe 1.7, 1.8, but I'm thinking more like 1.55 to 1.6, being conservative.
Mm,
So if you see that way, even if it's 1.55, I'll make 250K, or call it 1.5.
amazing.
So yeah, so 250K for a 60K runner. So yeah, we upped it for the face, and we removed a lot of trees, and we upgraded. We put some solar panels, and security systems and cameras and stuff. So when I got revalued, yeah, it's gone up in 250Ks in 10 months.
It's crazy. Like when you wrap up all the different properties that you bought, 200K up Townsville, 50 to 100K up, in Darwin, here up, let's say 300K. Then it kind of, it kind of stacks up. It's like you've made more than a half a million in what,
Two and
18
a half
months,
years.
less than 2 years,
Yeah.
since that first one in Townsville. It's a tremendous effort. Yeah, you should be, and you've got so much else going on and change careers. It's yeah, hats off to you, Barry. I'm very, very happy
Thank
for
you.
you and very proud of you. Last question. What's like, I'm sure there are a lot of people who listen to this on podcasts or on YouTube, etc., that also are in similar shoes to you, maybe they're blue collar workers, maybe they're white collar workers, but they're all working very hard, saving as hard as they can. They want to get into property investment, or perhaps they want to buy another property, but they're like, I don't know, they're just not doing it for whatever reason. What are, like, from your experience, maybe the biggest tip or the biggest two solid pieces of advice that you can share with them, other than, I'm not saying just do my course or whatever, like actual pieces of advice that they can sort of put in their pocket, implement tomorrow, implement next week, and hopefully get the same types of results that you have.
Yeah, have a clear vision, so you just can't go fishing all the time and go, oh yeah, I want to buy a property, but then don't do anything about it. Just say, okay, so you want to get into property market. Okay, yeah, decide that's what you want to do. Just don't sit on the fence. Once you decided that that is what you want to invest in, some people might invest in stocks, some people might invest here, some people might invest in crypto, whatever it is. But yeah, so for me, I feel the touchable, tangible, modern bricks sort of thing. So, so I know it's not some all in cloud and stuff. So it's a touch and feel for me. So for me, it's property, so um, yeah, decide if that's to your game and you decided to invest in property, then yeah, do your homework, like I say, I'm not saying that go to PK courses for, but which I highly recommend do it. But don't just take my word for it. There's a lot of people out there, uh, you know, I've been following you for quite a while now. It's like, end of the day, PK is not selling you anything. He's simply giving you the tool to utilize. So, he's giving you a guide, a course that shows you how to do it by yourself. It gives you the confidence. So now once you've done the course, it's a knowledge you gain. It's like going to university and getting a degree. So, so whether you want to get a law degree or you want to be a doctor, that's up to you. So, so it's that. So he's giving you a tool that So it's not just you do the course and you're going to do well. No, it's not. You have to do your homework. You have to do you have to put your efforts in. It's what you reap is what you're going to sow. So you know what I mean. So you have to do it. But if you're confident that you can do it, yeah, do the course. Gain the knowledge and go invest. If you have any questions, look, ask the Facebook group. Ask. There's a big community out there that they're willing to help you. But yeah, none of us going to tell you where to buy. But yeah,
Mhm.
that's because that's that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
But we are here to help you. We are here to support you. So if you've got a question about the course, feel free to ask me. I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
No, amazing. I always like this saying that says that potential unexpressed turns to pain. If you think that there's more to life that you can achieve, whether it's financially or anything, any part of your life, but you don't actually express that, if you don't actually go for it, then you start living in regret and actually that potential turns to pain. I've felt that myself in the past. So now I hear what you're saying, and I hope that it's inspiring and really lighting a fire under people to go off and pursue, with or without me, that's kind of inconsequential. But I really hope that everyone listens to what you're saying, Barry. I just want to thank you again. I know you're going through a lot at the moment, but I just want to extend my hand and say I'm very proud of you, very happy for you. And I know that, your kids will thank you in the future for laying these seeds, let these financial foundations for them, now. So, yeah, congratulations, my friend.
no, thank you, Pigay. Without you, and this wouldn't have been possible. So, hats up to you. And it's your hard work, and we follow your footsteps, and and your guidance, and all this is well. Like you said, I made over 500,000 in say 2 years. I couldn't have done it without doing the course and gaining that confidence and the knowledge. Yeah, because I could have simply paid $15,000 for every property I bought, which is about four now, so which is 60, including the two principal place of residence. If you see that way, if I paid 15,000 for each one I bought, I spent 60K. So your course is what, 6,000. So it's you know paid well over. So yeah. So thank you.
No, it's a absolute pleasure. And guys, I hope that you got some value out of this. There's more than 200 client interviews just like this on my client results playlist on YouTube. Like I always say, I honestly don't care if you do the course or not, but go and listen to them, go and watch them. People like Barry will serve to inspire you, educate you. And even if that's all you do, that association, that influence will start rubbing off onto you, and you'll find that you can't help but actually start taking action, and that's the most important thing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If any of this resonated with you, share it, subscribe, hit the like button, and once again, thank you, Barry.
Thank you.